Okay, that fixed it. That was weird. What? Do it again. Sorry, everyone, just getting everything set up. Making sure. I don't know why, but on YouTube, maybe on TikTok desktop, it's showing like 3. Also, I sound really echoey or something. It's weird. Thank you. Welcome to the Shark Show. Shark Show with Share Shark. Shark Show with Share Shark. My gosh. Okay. Dang it. I'm not actually even as ready as I thought I was. That was loud. Hold on a second. It's been a long time since I've done this. Need to get back to my... Is this the scene? Boost my mic. Hey, Sucker Pussy. Let me figure out mic stuff. Oh, maybe I just sound echoey because of the room. The room is very echoey. Boost my mic. Excuse me. Okay, I set that up to 150%. I don't know. This actually seems pretty high. It was at 125 already. I have to investigate why the is showing like the Chrome is showing like 3. So like I'll try to refresh this. Refresh the page, and it'll be like it's normal, and then it does back to 3. So I don't know if this is a TikTok is having an issue. I have no idea what to do to doing it. Why's the quality so low? Tile view? What the fuck? Okay. Did y'all know that was a thing? What does that do? Why is that there? Tile view? Okay, I think we're all caught up now. Everything's all good. We have somebody in the request. Hello, Tariana. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. What do you want to discuss?
I wanted to know what's your view on Christianity is. Like, what's your idea of the gospel?
Oh, the gospel. So, let's see. That depends on what you mean. I think that the gospel, like the idea of it, is that Jesus came to save us from our sins. Like I think that's the how I would describe it. And I don't think that um, he did that. I don't think that he was God. If he probably lived, but I don't think that that sins exist.
All right, is it okay if I share the gospel like with you, like what my view on it is?
Yeah, go for it.
So I believe that there's a common misconception about what Christianity is. So the one thing that separates Christians from other religions is obviously the belief that you don't have to do all these crazy things to go to heaven. You go to heaven through the belief
Just
of
one
Jesus
crazy thing,
Christ, and
right?
that.
Just one crazy thing.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to do all these crazy things. You just have to do one crazy thing, which is believe something insane that doesn't have any evidence for it.
I don't think it's insane.
That God
I
came
think
to
it's the
earth to kill
one.
him. That God came to earth to sacrifice himself to himself to save you from himself.
No, he didn't save us. He saved us from ourselves, from sin, because he gave us the free will to
Who
choose him or
decides
to
what
choose
sin? Who
sin, but
decides what sin is?
God.
So he's saving us from the thing that he decided upon. He's saving us from him.
He's saving us from evil.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, because we're all sinners and we all have done something bad in our lives.
Why does
And
God
so
hate us so
Jesus is
much?
he doesn't hate us. That's why he sent his son to die for us, and so that we can atone for our sins.
But so that we can be forgiven, right?
Yeah,
For something we didn't do.
for sinning.
Do you think that sin's worthy of death?
Um, well, yes, and Jesus died for it. It says in the Old Testament that the price of sin is death, and Jesus paid that price. That's why
This
in the
doesn't
Old
sound crazy
Testament.
yet to you. This still sounds totally normal, like not a crazy thing to have to believe.
No, it doesn't sound crazy to me at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let me break
I'm
it
a
down one more
Bible.
time for the audience that might be misunderstanding how crazy it is. So, God decides that he doesn't like certain things. He makes us, and he says that we do those things normally. They're just things that we do. And he says, I don't like that, so I'm going to die so that you can ask me to forgive you for making you this way, or something along those lines. It's a crazy kind of like way to view the world that doesn't make any sense. It
Well,
doesn't
we're
give, and it doesn't
humans, and
offer
so
anything also. It
we
doesn't
have.
give you anything. Like accepting Christ, nothing, doesn't mean anything.
I think it's better than accepting any other God. I
Right.
mean, it's the
No, I
one
mean, like,
religion that
I think they're
offers
all
forgiveness.
crazy. I didn't say you should accept a different God. I said Christianity offers nothing. And like, so far, yeah, we're on the same page with it, I think. What does it offer?
It offers repentance
For what?
for our sins. And can I share my testimony with you?
No. Why would I care? Why would I care about that?
Well, because I want to tell you how God helped me and why certain things are sins. And I think that the reason why God says certain things are sins is because they often hurt us in ways
Okay.
that sometimes we don't
How about
understand.
this? You can share your testimony, but then I'm going to share my testimony with you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I grew up in the foster care system. I was sexually abused, sexually assaulted several times by both men and women. And so that affected my perception of sex because people that were supposed to love me, they showed me that love in a way that was sexual. And so I grew up, I knew that sex wasn't love, but subconsciously I grew up feeling like in order to feel loved, I need to have sex with people. And I didn't really understand, like I understood it, but I didn't really fully understand it. And so it hurt me a lot. I felt because I was seeking out love in something that wasn't love. And one day I started to, I've always been a Christian, but I think that there's a point in every Christian's lives, because a lot of people grow up Christian, but I think that there's a point in everybody's lives, or well, every Christian's life, that they kind of have that own experience with God. And I started college, and I got a really very handsome Filipino boyfriend. He was also Christian, but we both struggled with things. I struggled with the lust, because I felt like you needed to have sex to feel loved. That's what I felt. And then he struggled with lust as well, as many people do. And so we both knew that it was a sin. I didn't really understand why it was a sin, though. I knew it was. I didn't understand it, though. And so we would have sex. And eventually it kind of turned into like something, the only thing that we were doing. And because sex is such a powerful and intimate thing, it kind of can overtake things.
When does God at all happen in this story? This is a crazy long testimony. I understand you were hurt. I'm sorry about that. And I understand you had a problem with sex. But you do not, this is very, very long. Like, when does God even show up?
He's always been a part of my life, but when
was he a part of your life when you were abused?
Yes. Because,
why didn't he do anything then?
Because people have free will, and it's
wrong answer. Does God have free will?
Yes.
Why didn't he do anything then? He chose not to. He chose to let you be hurt because he's not real.
But he also gave me a better situation, and so that I can help other people that's also been abused.
Do you think if no one was ever abused that way, you would need to be abused to help them with it?
Of course not, but because everybody has free will.
Can God stop that from ever happening?
I'm sure that he can, but
then
because people... Well, because the people that abused me had free will. They had the free will to do that, just like you and I have the free will to do that.
But God did not stop them.
Yes,
their
because
their free will was more important than God's choice. Right? It was more important than God stopping that from happening. Their free will was more important to God.
Do you know why we have free will?
So that people can be abused, it sounds like. It's the only reason you've given so far.
No, it's actually because if we were not given free will, we would kind of all be real robots, and we wouldn't have been given the opportunity to love God.
And that was God's choice. Did you choose to have free will?
No, sir. But if I didn't have free will, then
ma'am. Hey!
I'm sorry.
Say
I'm sorry.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
So,
why do Christians sound like robots if God doesn't want robots? This is the thing I've been confused about this for a long time. You all say the same thing. You all say, well, I got hurt and abused, but it's because God favors free will over all things, which he never says. That's not a thing that God ever speaks to. It's a thing you all made up to cope.
No.
Well, I mean, I think Aquinas made it up, but you all cope with it. It's not in the Bible. Like, there's no mention of free will in the Bible.
I'm sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Well, God, he gave us the free will because if we didn't have free will, then you can't love someone without free will.
How do you know that?
Because if it was control, then it wouldn't be love. Like, for example, if somebody was in a relationship with someone and they were forced to be in that relationship, that wouldn't be love. That would be control.
Right. I don't think a lack of free will is necessarily control, though. I think you can be determined to do something and still lack free will because you cannot change the outcome or change what's happening, but no one's controlling it, right?
Well, like free will as in your choice to do things, not your choice to like change what other people do, because free will is for yourself. And
how did that answer what I asked you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you asked?
Were you listening?
I was. I just
okay.
Kind of forgot. I'm sorry.
You said that without free will, we would be controlled, but I don't think that's a true dichotomy. I think without free will, we would be determined. It doesn't mean that we're controlled.
Well, without free will, we would be like robots, like we wouldn't have control over our own actions.
That's true that we wouldn't have control, but it does not mean that we would be controlled. Do you understand the difference?
Well, then who would have control?
No one. It would just be like billiard balls bouncing around a pool table because of an effect caused previously.
But then we wouldn't have control over our own selves. And so what would be the point of that?
I don't know
We
what would be the
wouldn't
point
get
of
to
that, but it
choose.
seems to be the truth.
But why wouldn't we get to choose? Wouldn't you rather be able to choose?
Do you think there's a difference between choosing and free will?
No. Can you
Okay.
explain?
So I think that there is a difference between choosing and free will, because I think free will is the ability to choose without restriction, the ability to do things without any kind of restriction. And so, I mean, like, there's already going to be like a breakdown where you look at it from like, I can't fly, and so I'm restricted, so maybe I don't have free will in that sense. But like also from the sense of like, I didn't choose to be born. I didn't choose to be influenced by things. I was born into like a certain family. I was born into a certain class. These are things that are out of my control and they affect my will. So my will is never truly free. I think what Christians mean by free will is they mean that God doesn't interfere, but that also doesn't make any sense because the God that you worship interferes all the time and tells you that he will. I kind of got off on a new path there. We can keep talking about free will, but
I understand.
I don't think that God gives you free will. Like this argument of like bad things happen because God has his hands off the wheel, and you're screaming, Jesus, take the wheel, and he's like, I don't know how to drive.
The thing is, originally, that's why God did destroy the world, because there was so much evil. But he promised us that he wouldn't do that again.
Because he regretted it, because he changed his mind, even though he doesn't change his mind, and he should be perfect. It's like all of this is nonsense. Like, doesn't offer anything. It doesn't help with like determining how the world works. Like whether the flood happened or whether evolution happened or whether there was a Big Bang, all of these things do not help me in my day to day. And so I try to throw away the things that don't make sense and keep the practical stuff. So like the Big Bang and evolution still makes sense enough to me, but they don't really matter that much. So like you could just argue about it. Say like there was a flood, whatever. I don't care. But like as far as an actual living God that's like having a relationship with people, like none of that stuff is real. Like that's not here.
It encourages people to be good even when it's inconvenient for them.
Wrong. It encourages people to try to obey God. No, it encourages people to try to obey God. That's different than being good.
Yes, to be good. A lot of what's in the Bible is about morals.
Like what?
Like you can't kill people, you can't rape people.
Unless you're God,
God doesn't rape people.
Well, he has other people do it for him a lot of the time, right?
No, he doesn't. No, that's not true. As a matter of fact, in the Old Testament, when he says that if you are to rape someone, you are to be stoned, you are to be killed.
Well, if she's betrothed or married, but not like if she's doesn't cry out.
If she's a virgin, and if she's married as well, as she's any woman,
but if she doesn't cry out, it's not considered rape, right? Because they thought, well, somebody would have
cry out as in
she would have cried out.
Cry out as in if she doesn't, if she says no.
Or cry out. Like she could say no to him and no one heard it. If nobody hears her, she's fucked, I think. Oof.
Well, if nobody hears her, nobody can really like help her. Like there's no witnesses.
Right. So if it happens in the city and he's restraining her and he's holding his hand over her mouth and no one can hear her, and then she comes forward and says, "This guy raped me." Well, she wouldn't say that. She'd say, "This guy, he knew me in a biblical sense." I think she'd say, "She knew me in a biblical sense." And then they would say, "Well, do you have any witnesses?" And they'd say, "I don't think so. God's law says I don't have to care about this. You're nobody's property." They'd say, "You're nobody's property. Are you somebody's property?" No one was harmed. Okay, sounds fine. You wanted it because you would have cried out. That's what they would say.
I don't think that's true.
How
But
else would it go
why do you
down? Please
think
paint the picture.
Christianity?
Paint the picture. Tell me how you think it would go down under God's law.
I'm not sure actually because I don't know everything. I mean, I'm still reading my Bible, and I don't want to give you a false answer. I'd rather be a bit more educated on that.
Let's see. Bible law,
But
raped in
what
city.
makes you think that Christianity is so like restrictive?
What makes me think it's restrictive? Have you read like any of the fucking book?
Yeah, I have.
And it's all about how you need to obey God. Do you not find
Yeah.
that to be restrictive?
No.
Oh, okay. So being told what to
I
do
think that.
is not restrictive. Not being able to do what you want. I see why you think there's free will. You
Well, a
have no idea what
parent.
freedom is.
Well, a parent, they tell their child to do stuff for their own good, right?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't mean the child is like free and doing what they want. Like, I don't understand. It means they're restricted. Like, we're talking about, you just said, why
No.
do I find it
Well,
restrictive?
no. Actually,
Being
it's not
told what to do
restricted
is
because
restrictive.
he gives us the option to choose to do what he tells us
No,
to
he
do.
doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Okay, let me put this plainly. You only believe that because he doesn't exist. If he existed, he does not give that option. The book says that you will have no other gods before him and that you will worship him alone. The first two commandments are about worshiping God. You don't have
Yeah.
a choice. It's not a suggestion. They're not the 10 suggestions.
And what's so bad about that?
It's restrictive. What if I want to worship a different God?
He doesn't want you to worship a different God because he
Why
believes
is that
it's
my problem?
well, you can choose to worship a different God, but because you choose to worship a different God's going to give you that. He's going to allow you to have that. Like you can, if you don't want to be with him, then he's giving you that
No,
option.
that's not true.
Yes, it is.
He says that I should be stoned to death if I don't worship him. It's only because we don't have like a theocracy that I am still alive. Do you understand this? Like in a theocracy, I'm gone. I don't exist anymore because of many, many reasons. But like,
What are those many reasons?
I'm trans. Like I'm a lesbian. I'm an atheist. I don't like the president. Like all kinds of things, right? All of those things are lumped into if theology were in charge, then like anyone that steps out of line is gone. Like that's just how it works. That's the whole point of it.
Atheism and believing in another God is the only reason why you would end up going to hell, not the other things. Although they are sins, everybody sins, and
it's what the Bible says should happen.
Not in the New Testament.
Where does it say that you should stop murdering people for worshiping other gods? Does Jesus say it or is it Paul? I guess it could be that. I could think of some things that Paul says where he says that you can eat meat that's sacrificed to idols because like you don't believe in those gods or whatever. But Jesus never speaks against the laws of the Old Testament and says that you should follow them.
Actually, he does. He said, here, let me find a verse really quick.
I've got to get it's not showing the freaking window and it's really annoying because I have to, trying to show this Bible verse. Where's it at? It keeps coming up as like empty and I don't know why that is happening.
As a matter of fact, shows forgiveness towards many people who have sinned. For example, the adulterous woman. The Bible speaks a lot against hypocrisy. And so who am I to judge?
When does Jesus say to go against the law? That's the thing I think you were looking for.
So for adulterers, they're supposed to be stoned, right, in the Old Testament.
They didn't bring forth both people. So there's multiple issues with this, right? So the first issue is that this passage is believed to have been added later. Like it was added in by somebody else pretending to be Jesus. Even though nobody that wrote this knew Jesus. There's a bunch of problems with the Gospels. But this was, even Jesus did say this, my understanding is that the man and the woman had to be brought forward. And they only brought the woman. And so like there's like a technicality where he can say this and they can't do anything about it. And it's very vague as to what he's trying to actually say. Other places in the Bible, he's less vague, and he says, "Do not stop following the law. Not one jot or tittle will be taken away." So it seems to me that like he was like, "Oh, I can get around this on a technicality," or it was added later. He never said it, or he never said any of these things. But regardless, like I think this just kind of falls apart in the face of the things that he does say about the law.
So what do you think he said to the woman, or he said to the people that brought the adulterer?
He said, "He was without sin, cast the first stone."
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And
so
because
like the implication, I don't understand the implication is like, oh, he would have, oh, I see what happened. One second. The implication, I guess, being that like, oh, well, like, nobody should be stoned any longer because we all sin. But it's really weird because like he literally says like you should stop following your traditions and stone your children. And I guess you could argue like, oh, well, in this case, he doesn't actually mean that. Sorry?
Where does it say that?
Let me find it really quick. I'm trying to cross.
He said that to the Pharisees, who were actually the people that were judging all the sinners when he sat with the sinners.
Yes, he said that you follow your own traditions, but you do not follow the law. If you followed the law, you would stone your children when they disobey you. And so, like, one could argue.
What verse is that?
Let's find. Let me look for that really quick. Jesus, follow tradition. Bible Gateway. I gotta go in a couple seconds. I'm sorry. I was just having a short stream today. I gotta leave the house around 2, and I gotta get ready for something. Let me get this though. We'll do this really quick. Yeah. So we'll just do this real quick. Okay. So, traditions and commandments. What is this? Matthew 15. Then the Pharisees and scribes came to Jesus from Jerusalem and said, "Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? They do not wash their hands when they eat." Excuse me. He answered them, "And why do you break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? For God commanded, 'Honor your father and your mother,' and whoever reviles father or mother must surely die. But you say, if anyone tells his father or his mother, 'What you would have gained from me is given to God,' and he need not honor his father, so for the sake of your tradition, you have made void the word of God. You hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you when he said, 'The people honor me with their lips, their hearts far from me. In vain did they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men.'" And so to me, this seems really clear that he's like, you should be following the law. And he points out this verse about dying, about killing your children. It's a crazy example. But I think that if one were to say, well, he's just using this as an example that's not literal, then I think that the stone without sin thing is also just not, like, it just makes it so all of the stuff he says is so meaningless and hard to know what he means.
He did speak in parables a lot.
This isn't a parable. This isn't a parable, though. This is him getting.
That basically.
He's like, when he speaks in parables, he's really clear that it's a parable. He'll be like, here's a story. This is a story. This is him chastising them.
The Pharisees often did very selfish things, and they didn't follow they followed the law for themselves. And they follow tradition for themselves, and they use that to criticize other people instead of for the love of God and for the love of other people.
Right. Instead of following the law, which is what Jesus does not say here. Don't criticize people. Don't, you're not loving them enough. He's saying you're not following the law. You're hypocrites.
He does say that eventually. He says that I have not come for the righteous. I came for the sinners, just as a doctor comes for the sick and not the healthy.
That does not at all mean anything to do with what's happening in this. How does that relate to this?
Well, I'm just giving context to the Pharisees.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that only the Pharisees should be killing their children? Is that the intent that you're getting at? Is that like he actually meant it's very specifically to them?
What does the word reviles mean? Hold on, let me search.
It's like hates or like probably speaks ill of. Let me see. Translate selection, search Google for reviles. Let me see what it
So
says.
whoever is like abusive
Criticize
to
in
their
an abusive
parents.
or angrily insulting manner. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. So like, I mean, like, I don't think that it's necessarily great to do that to your parents, but like, I don't think it's worthy of death. And I think a lot of people have good reason to do that, but it's also just like the point that Jesus is making is to follow the law. And part of that law was to kill people for breaking the law. I don't really understand why we shouldn't do that today if we are to live under God. Well,
Okay, that makes.
I
I
do need to
understand
go.
what you're saying.
I do need to go. I'm sorry.
Can I give
hate
you
to
one more
interrupt.
verse though?
Yeah, go for it.
Just one more verse.
Yeah.
So John 12, verse 47, it says, "If anyone hears my words but does not keep them, I do not judge that person, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save it."
From who? Yeah, from himself. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense.
And to save it from
I appreciate you
Satan,
coming up.
from sin.
Thank you for talking to me, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you everybody for the quick live. I'm gonna come back later. I have a new business. I'm trying to sell transcription captioning stuff. We'll see how that goes. But I have to leave my house for like an hour or two. So I'll see you later.
Try to parry.
You're right, you go over.
No, you trying to whack me. Yeah.
Ow.
I think that guy wants to.
Yeah, no.
Oh, there's an invisible wall there. Hey guys.